Man, I want to say, man, I go see this movie a couple weeks back, man. This is really good, played by Marshall Ali. It's really started about a biography of Don Shirley, man. He was a huge pianist back in the day in the 1960s and very wealthy. And this time, there was a lot of Jim Crow going on. It's back in New York. And he really didn't need the money, but he wanted to apply himself. He wanted to challenge himself, and pretty much he was getting paid by playing in a simple orchestra, a trio. In front of Caucasian people, man, or rich white people, and to entertain them. Now, the crazy part is that he needed some security. He needed some security. He needed some protection to actually drive him down south, during this tour. And so he did various interviews, and there was just a gentleman named Tony Lip. Tony Lip was a bouncer back in the day. He was a bouncer, and he really was about that stuff, man. He really didn't take those stuff, man, and he wanted to provide, just a well for his family in a particular time, man. So this all came hand in hand, and he recently got released from his other job, and he was just going odd jobs. He was like a contractor, but it was really nothing consistent in at the time. So he was in New York, and New York was expensive, not how it is today, but still back in the day, man. Every little penny counted. So he was in the Italian community, and they don't really care for African Americans. They have a negative stereotypical part of African Americans, think they so dumb or stupid. It had one particular scene is that it was two gentlemen who was working on electricity, or I think he was installing something in their house, and he saw one of his wife actually offered him some cups, man, cups of water. And after they started finished drinking and went about their business, as soon as they left, he took the cups that the African Americans were drinking and threw it in the trash, man. So his wife kind of knew that. So I was had an indication that, okay, yeah, this man is a little racist, man. So, but it's in the 1960s. A lot of things was very segregated, man, in a particular time. And plus, this is before the assassination of JFK. So a lot of Jim Crow, and oh my goodness, just, man, the way they just treated African Americans in a particular time, you're like, wow. But as the story progressed, man, he went on the interview. It was a doctor. He thought it was a medical doctor that he had to protect, but it was a African American man, Don Shirley, and he didn't even know this. He was like, wow, you're you're African American, but he offered him a lot of money, and he didn't want to be a fool and turn that down because of this man's skin color, because he knew, like, listen, well, we are on falling in tight times right now, tough times, and Christmas is coming up. I got to do something. And he said, I just took the role. Hey, I'm just gonna be with this black man for, I think it was like 2 or 3 months at a time. It was a long time. He's gonna be away for his family, but his wife agreed to it. So he ended up hiring him. They kind of built a sort of a relationship, down south, man. As he gave him duties. Say, listen, I need to be at this concert in this particular time. I had to perform at this particular time, and I need you to be there. And they agreed, had the gas, had the maps, and they went down south, man. They traveled to Alabama, Mississippi, they went, all over the country, man, Iowa, all of these things, man. And so what was really kind of struck me is that no matter how talented John Shirley was, they still treated him that he was nothing. Like, he couldn't eat with the Caucasian people. The Italian Tony Lip had the opportunity to do that. That showed the very powerful scene when their car broke down, and Don Shirley had this nice suit on, and he seen black people working out in the fields, and the people in the fields kind of spotted him, and they stopped what they was doing to look at this man like, man, well, what is something that we are not doing? Like, he has an Italian chauffeur, he's in a nice suit. I mean, this is like an illusion right here, what we doing, and this is not cool. And so, I was just looking like, wow, man. And so Don Shirley, man, he really had a bond relationship with him, because it first started off kind of crazy and weird. He didn't really know about his own culture, his black culture, and he felt like he was stereotyping him, that why I have to always understand, like, Aretha Franklin? Why do I have to know who Little Richard is? Why do I have to know who Stevie Wonder is? He was like, you don't know who your people are? And, he was like, it was kind of crazy, man. Had them eating fried chicken and all these things, man, on the tour. And he was like, I'm not into the black culture system. All I want to do is play classical music. So he was a little different, and you can tell that back in his background, he was isolated, from his brother. His brother didn't really want to connect and communicate with him. And I kind of understand that he didn't want to fall into the temptations and all the stereotypical of I guess how African Americans should be acting. He always wanted to be proper, and which is okay, and speak the English language really well and perform his craft, and perfect it each and every single day, despite how white people was treating him. But it was to the point that it was getting really upsetting. It was getting very sad that this white man, he entertained him and got paid, but he couldn't eat in an intermission with him. He had to eat in a bathroom or some type of shack, man, with the food. And he was like, "No, I'm a human being. I'm rich. Like, no matter how wealthy you are." In that particular time, they had a law, like, or a rule, like, if you're a black person, no matter how successful you could be the president of the United States, we're not going to treat you like a human being. They was really going by that 3/5 of amendment, man, or 3/5 of the Constitution, how they was treating like African Americans, man, and we're really not human. So he experienced a little like trial tribulations, man. When he decided to go to some club, man, he was getting depressed, he was drinking, but Tony Lip helped save him and protecting him from hoodlums, man, even his own people as well. And so, I mean, as they started to begin to know each other, I mean, they started apologizing. He started helping each other out. And Tony Lip started having a little heart, man. God softened his heart to actually, like, I'm doing a bigger job, a bigger duty. Not only I'm protecting him, but I'm actually helping out this man's career and his self-esteem as well. That, listen, you don't have to be like us. You can always, it's nothing wrong embracing your culture. And when he was turned down from just sitting and with the white people and eating, he went to some local bar club in an African American community, and they welcome. It's funny how black people, man, they're so very forgiving, man, towards other races of people, but they actually welcomed the Italian person, and they talked to him and like he was a human being, and they accepted Don Shirley a little bit, even though he was wearing this suit and weird, but he played little tunes from him on the piano, and it was just amazing, man. And he embraced his culture, man. He started loving black people for a minute, but it's nothing wrong with that. You can embrace the positive aspects of your culture, man, which is food, dance, jazz. I mean, music, just entertainment in general, man. It's something that's very positive, and that's what he kind of learned before he actually went back home. When he was arrested as well, Don Shirley had connected with the mayor. They released him from the Mississippi police. I mean, it was a lot of things that he had to go through, man, and to experience. And what's one of the most powerful scenes, if you watch the movie, is that, why the time away that Tony Lip was his security guard, he actually ended up writing letters to his wife, but he was kind of illiterate in a way, so Don Shirley had to help him out and gave him like prophetic words, man. And his wife was just crying. She kind of knew it wasn't him, but she started crying because like she appreciated the effort and the thought, because their marriage was on the brink of collapsing. And so not only that this man helped his marriage, but Tony Lip helped Don Shirley with his self-esteem, that, listen, you don't have to be like us. Like, I mean, it's okay to always achieve success, but at the same time, man, do not forget where you came from. And man, this movie was just so powerful. So $23 million budget. I think this is easily probably one of the best movies in America. I really enjoyed it. Well, sorry for the year, man. So the Oscars, it's gonna be really interesting, man. But I love it, man. Mashallah Ali did an excellent job, man. The dude who played Cottonmouth. I mean, you guys have to go see this movie. Green Book is an excellent film. I loved it. I enjoyed it, man. It was just great, man. And at the end, he ended up embracing with his family members. Tony Lip went back home. He got paid, I think, $125 a week, something like that, and that was a lot of money back then. And yeah, man, and he just became a great bouncer, and they had a good bond. But it was just really funny, man. But it's just interesting how you don't know who a person is until you really get to know them. Like, you have to be around them. Like, everybody has gifts, everybody has talents, and everyone has flaws. But I'm just glad they was able to embrace it and recognize it. So I give this movie a 9.4 out of 10, man. Great film. Go ahead and watch it, man. Next time I'm gonna see Bird Box on Netflix. I'm gonna do my review on this. Merry Christmas to everybody. You guys be safe, man. But Mashal Ali did his thing on this. I'm out.